Well, good evening, Tiger sports fans. Tonight it's varsity bowling here at River City Bowlway in Napoleon, Ohio. The Liberty Center Tigers will host the Evergreen Vikings. I'm your host, Mark Bly, and I'm going to be solo tonight as Karen Savage is on another assignment. But we will only be bringing you boys bowling as Evergreen does not have a girls bowling team. So we'll cover the boys. Our Lady Tigers are here bowling each other, kind of a scrimmage. We'll keep you updated on those scores as they come across. So Liberty Center comes in at 8-4. Their two losses are both two to Bryan and 2 to Evergreen, and both of those were very, very tight matches. I know we were here late last week on Friday, and it was a 12-pin victory for the Rams over our Tigers. So we're about ready to get underway here. And like I said, our Lady Tigers, you'll see them in the background bowling, and they're just going to bowl each other. Nice practice for Coach Shaddy and his crew. And the boys are just underway here. We'll get your lineups for you here in just a second. They get brought to me. Out on lane 17 is Maddox Oyer, Tyler McDougall. And they're on 17-18. On 19-20 is Dakota Hopkins, Stone Roth, and Wes Wilhelm for the Tigers. We'll get your lineups here for the Evergreen Vikings. Mrs. Coco Roth. Look at that. Speak of the devil, and look who shows up. So thank you. For the Evergreen Vikings, it's Isaac Hansel, Cohen Meyer, Lane Vance, Michael Laver, and Trevor Johnson. And we'll keep you updated as if and when things change there. Stone Roth starts out with a 9 and a spare. Wes Wilhelm on lane 19 throws a solid strike. Wes started out strong in last week's match with Tenora, but lane conditions went crazy for all the bowlers. And first games were very high. The second games were minus 100 for each of the competing teams. So just getting in frame number 1 here. Dakota Hopkins wiggled the pin, but it wouldn't fall. Isaac Hansel for the Evergreen Vikings out there on lane 18, I think, 17. Trying to get my angles figured out here. Stone Roth with a strike on lane 20. Actually, they're going to correct that. Going to be a 9, and they're going to have to reset some pins for him. Stone Roth patiently waiting for some pins to be reset. Maddox Oyer out there on lane 18 with a 9. He's looking to convert here. And nice pickup from Maddox Boyer. You know, one of the things that we watched as Karen Savage and I did the broadcast was that was the lack of spares, and we talk about the mechanics of bowling and the things that need to happen for that. And just like that, out on lane 19, a nice large split conversion for that spare by the Vikings. I believe that was Trevor Johnson out there. Great shot by him for the Vikings. And after the delay, Stone Roth gets his spare. They're on lane 20. Lane Vance now for Evergreen up on lane 17 on the outside. You'll see him here in a second. He's coming off a strike in the first frame. And that's 2 for Cohen Myers. Oh, I'm sorry. That was Lane Vance out on that lane 17 for the Vikings. Wes Wilhelm out here on lane 20 looking for his spare conversion. And gets it cleanly. Maddox Sawyer down there on 17 with a strike for the Tigers. And we do have our Lady Tigers once again bowling, just kind of a scrimmage against each other. All the Lady Tigers bowling tonight. And we're going to try to get A.J. Seedorf on the microphone here in between some of the games. A.J., a 4-year starter, one of our 3 seniors on the ladies team. And we'll talk a little bit about her accolades and the things she's done over her 4 years here with the Tiger Bowling program. Wes Wilhelm with a pocket hit, but draws a 9. And lane 19 and 20 are being awful stingy there for both teams. Trevor Johnson hits a solid pocket, and he leaves the 7-pin. Nice pickup there on lane 20, the Evergreen Vikings. And Lane Vance out there on the far side of the lanes here for the Vikings. 3 strikes in a row, so he opens up well in the first 3 frames. Maddox Sawyer sweeps a lot of pins but leaves 2. Wes Wilhelm on 19 for the convert. And he wiggles it, but it doesn't fall for Wes Wilhelm. Wes is one of those interesting athletes. Many days he goes from bowling directly to basketball. He's also one of the primary players on the Liberty Center varsity boys basketball team, as well as been one of the leaders here for the last 3 years on our Tiger men's bowling team, too. Tyler McDougal out there on late 18. And they'll leave a 2. Well, Dakota Hopkins now on 2 strikes here in frames 3 and 4. Stone Roth with a solid shot there on 20 for the Tigers. And Tyler McDougal picks up his spare. Again, you know, that was one of the things as we watched the match against Tenora, is a couple converted spares here and there would have made the big difference in that match. And I think Coach Rod and his Tiger men, got together afterwards, and they knew what it was. And I think they're going to be a little more conscious of that today. Wes Wilhelm with a big split on 20. Right now the match looks pretty close as I'm checking out some of the scores. Yeah, it looks like Liberty might be up by about 30 pins, but you never know. Again, it's all about the conversions. And Wes Wilhelm will get one of those 2 left there on the lane for an open frame for him in the 4th. Maddox Oyer down there on 17 leaves a solid 7 after a good pocket hit. A lot of good pocket hits tonight here on 17, 18, 19, and 20, but one pin will stay solid. And Dakota Hopkins just felt that misery. Good pocket hit. Left a solid 7, or solid 6 pin, I'm sorry. And he doesn't convert the spare, so. To look at averages here as we talk about our bowlers, Wes Wilhelm leads the team with a 229 average, then Stone Roth with a 189, Dakota Hopkins 186, Maddox Oyer 170, Tyler McDougal 165, and Owen Gabers is the only other player that has registered a varsity game, and he's averaging right around 127. For the Vikings, Michael Laver 194, Trevor Johnson 175, Isaac Hansel 165, Cohen Meyer 157, and Lane Vance 153. As usual, the boys are moving quickly through game number 1 here, already completing 5 frames. Looks like Liberty's up about 40 pins right now. But again, it's still early in the match. Dakota Hopkins sweeps them all down on lane 20 for the Tigers. Now Tyler McDougal will go into the 6th frame out there on lane 18, and they're cleaning up a pin mess out there. Wes Wilhelm will convert the spare 19. All right, finally after some lane maintenance, Tyler McDougal will get a shot at the 7-pin. And he wiggles it, but it doesn't fall for Tyler McDougal. Those open frames are going to make a big difference as we come down the stretch here, getting into the 7th frame for the men. Medic Sawyer with a nice ball out there on 17. Wes Wilhelm trying to get back in the groove, and he does with a nice pocket hit on lane 20. Mike Laver with a turkey here. 4, 5, and 6 frames with a strike as he prepares to roll the 7th there out on lane 20. And Dakota Hopkins gets a lot of pin action there on 19 for his strike. And Michael Laver, another strike. His average is 194, but he's tracking at about 256 right now through 7 frames. Stone Roth about on the same track, right around 257. And Evergreen with a lot of strikes here for the Vikings. Wes Wilhelm with a nice pickup, that 10-pin. And we talk a little bit about those power bowlers and the two-handed throw with a lot of spin. That 10-pin is the big nemesis. Wes Wilhelm handles that accordingly. And Dakota Hopkins on a turkey there. Now Maddox Sawyer for the Tigers out there on 18. He's doubled up, looking for a 3 here. Mike Laver now with 5 in a row for the Vikings through 8 frames. Wes Wilhelm high in the pocket there on 20. He'll leave 2 pins on that right side. Dakota Hopkins now with 5 in a row for him after a shaky start. Starts coming back strong. Stone Roth now for the Tigers. And he'll go Brooklyn for Stone Roth, but he'll take it. Kind of shakes his head and walks back to the scorer's desk. And now Tyler McDougal looking to spare here on lane 18 for the Tigers. And nice conversion for him out there. A close match. Mike Laver for the Vikings with another strike. Believe that's 6, maybe 7 in a row. I can't see his score all the way through 9 frames, but he's still tracking at 256 for him. So with a 194 average, he's having a good game. Also, Trevor Johnson. He's tracking at about a 236 through 9 frames on a 175 average. So a couple Vikings having a great night so far. Maddox Ware on the other side. Brooklyn side, he'll leave 1. And Wes Wilhelm on 19, he converts for the Tigers. I think that's what it's going to come down to with a lot of Vikings with a lot of strikes right now. Stringing out 6 and I think 7 in a row for Mike Laver and Trevor Johnson. Laver with another strike. Left-hander. Tyler McDougal with a nice pocket hit, but leaves a solid 10 out there on 17. Dakota Hopkins, unfortunately, drops the last one in there, but 214 for Dakota Hopkins in game number 1. He has an average of 186, so good game for him. Now Stone Roth up on 20. And a lot of pin action, and it recorded a strike, but he got 9. They'll have to make a correction here. A lot of action down here on 19 and 20. Mike Laver now for the Vikings with, I believe, 8 in a row. Tyler McDougal up there. Maddox Oyer finishes his first game with a 163 for Maddox Oyer. Maddox Sawyer with a 170 average, just short. And a 255 for Mike Laver. Really nice game for him. Him with a 194 average. Nice game for him. Stone Roth still pin maintenance out here on 20. And Isaac Hansel with a 137 for the Vikings. Now, finally, after some pin maintenance, Stone Roth will be able to shoot for this 7-pin. And he converts. Cohen Myers out there with a solid pin, solid pocket hit there on 17, but couldn't get him to fall. And on 19, Trevor Johnson too. Stone Roth finishes with a 233 for the Tigers. So nice game for Stone Roth, 189 average, but 213 on this game. So a nice game for Stone. And when Trevor Johnson drops it off into the alley. But nice game for him, 224. Trevor Johnson with a 175 average, so a good game for him. Wes Wilhelm, his first shot. In the 10th frame, Tyler McDougal finishes up with a nice game for Tyler McDougal, 183. Tyler McDougal with a 165 average, so a good game for Tyler. Here. Wes Wilhelm. A little high in the pocket there, but he'll draw an 8. Cohen Myers with a 130. And we'll get some scores added up for you here. And Wes Wilhelm finishes with a 173, well below his average. And again, we'll get some scores added up for you. Lane Johnson, Lane Vance, he finishes with a 222. So let's get some scores added up for you. Looks like Evergreen rolls a 968 in game 1. And we'll get the Liberty scores added up here for you. And a 966. So Liberty loses game number 1 by 2 pins. That's really been the tale of the tape for the Liberty Center Tigers men's team right now. They lost to Tenora by 12 pins total, and now they're down 2 pins. So Evergreen takes game number 1, 968 to 966. And immediately they'll go in there. But before that, let's go ahead and we're going to hear from our sponsors. '24-25 title sponsors: KK Collision, Meyer Badenhop Insurance, Affinity IT Group, Swanton Welding, P's and Ello's Pizza, Ohio Asphalt Paving, Davis Farm Services, Holgate Metal Fab, and the Gerald Grain Centers. We appreciate you guys. They support us, so please support them. All right, we're back here, and I'll double check the scores with their scorekeeper, and we'll be back right after this. All right. Well, we double check scores here. We are -2 here for the Tigers, and they're going to substitute. Wes Wilhelm's going to come out. Owen Gabers is going to bowl game number 2 for him. And for the Vikings, Cohen Myers is going to come out, and Thomas Baker is going to come in for the Vikings. So we're getting underway here in game number 2. And Tigers start out 4 out of 5 strikes for the Tigers, as they'll need to keep it close. So in the first game, Mike Laver was +61 on his average, which was a great game for the Vikings. And I think Trevor Johnson was +49. Okay. Well, Wes Wilhelm is going to come back in for the Tigers. He just needed a minute or a drink or a corn nugget or something. But he's back in for the Tigers. So we talk about good games. Again, Mike Laver for Evergreen +61. And then Trevor Johnson +49 for the Tigers. Stone Roth with a good game. Let's see, he was +44 for Stone Roth. Good game for him. And also Dakota Hopkins ended up, he started slow, but finished strong for him. +28. Maddox Oyer, 7 pins off his average. And Tyler McDougall was +12. So still anybody's match here with only 2 pins separating the first match. Lady Tigers moving through their scrimmage here with each other. And Coach Rick Shaddy out there just kind of evaluating. Big split by Dakota Hopkins, but he does what you should do, at least get one. Tyler McDougal down there, lane 17 with a good hit, and he gets them all. Stone Roth with a solid strike on lane 20. Mike Laver with a great hit. Everything flew off the lane except for the 7-pin. Wes Wilhelm sweeps them all down for a strikeout on 20. He's going to slow down a second here for me. But Maddox Sawyer will step up now for the Tigers on lane 18. And we're going to get Miss A.J. Seedorf on the microphone here in a few minutes. A.J. is one of our 3 senior ladies on the bowling team, a 4-year starter for Coach Shaddy. Nope, she is going to join us. Yep. All right, you should be able to hear me.
Whoa, yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome to Tiger Sports Live. This is your first time.
Yes, it is.
You know, your brother, Phil Snow, is on here all the time. And can you out-talk him or can he out-talk you?
Oh, he can out-talk me
by
days.
I think he can out-talk just about anybody. So
Absolutely.
Yep. So Miss A.J. Seedorf, a 4-year starter here for the Lady Tigers. One of the few 4-year program people. I don't know that there's anybody else that's been on here for 4 years.
I don't think so.
But we put a Facebook post out with your kind of all your accolades. But freshman year, you were a member of the NWOL championship team. How cool was that?
That was really awesome. To go to state as a freshman was insane.
Yeah, and you guys, I think you took third or fourth? Fourth. So great there. Sophomore year, you placed 5th overall in the NWOL. Honorable mention. Cool.
Also very cool, yeah.
You know, and you were one of the people, we talk about this a lot, is we've been broadcasting since you were a freshman for bowling. And so we've gotten to watch you progress. You know, it's been kind of cool to watch you kind of mature into this. And, you know, from the girl that had no emotions ever the first 2 years to, you know, you're really a team leader. And that's kind of cool. You know, when you see the girls, they watch you. And how does that kind of feel?
It feels interesting to be the person that I used to look up to, the seniors, and now I'm a senior that people look up to, and it's really crazy to think about that.
Yeah.
And the way that, I don't know.
Well, and you do a great job of leading by example and by just encouragement. We've watched you. It's kind of cool. Rolled a 215 at Baker's Bash, second place, 570 series. And I think I'm trying to read here real quick. Your high game is a 289.
It is. I bowled that this year.
Yeah, you did. In a league match or?
Out of league.
We
were bowling Liberty Benton.
Oh, so you went down south there. Yeah, and that was one of those weird things where you guys went in one direction and the boys went in another direction, didn't you?
Yes. I cannot remember where the boys went.
I think they were at Swanton bowling Evergreen.
Probably, yeah.
Because Evergreen's one of the few schools in our NWOL that doesn't have a girls team. So also 483 series. So, you know, you've had a good career, and I think a very solid performance this year. I think your average is I have the boys sheet.
Oh, it is a 189.
Yeah, I think 189 or 190 I saw.
Yes.
And you've been consistently, I think the last 3 or 4 matches, you've been over 200.
Yes.
So, you know, I like that. I've also watched, you kind of got frazzled in a match or two ago, and then just kind of, you went and changed balls. And then you came back, and then you decided that wasn't a great idea. You went back to the other one. It was kind of funny to watch you. What's your greatest experience with bowling so far?
This year or overall?
Well, overall.
State was very fun. I remember state very clearly.
Yeah.
It was yesterday. I really hope to go again this year.
Well, you were a freshman yesterday, too. Doesn't time fly? It's interesting. You know, we have a lot of students that we interview, and they talk about, you know, high school and whatever. And what do we tell people? It's a blip. It really is in your life. It's a great experience, but it's a blip. So your future plans. Wait, I'm sorry. Before we talk about that, you're also involved, I think, in band.
Band and choir.
And choir.
Yes.
And
very musically inclined.
Are you? You play the instruments?
I play the flute.
Oh, cool.
I was also band captain.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Well, the leadership, and they're over there waiting for you.
Okay.
So we got to go. But, well, thank you very much. Congratulations on being one of the team leaders in this season, and good luck in the future.
Thank you.
All right. It's A.J. Seedorf. Thanks. We're signing her up to broadcast. She can replace Phil. He's out there listening. That's why I said that. So, so once again, Miss A.J. Seedorf, one of the 4-year starters here for the Lady Tigers. So, all right, well, let's check back in on the boys as we're now in the, looks like the 6th or 7th frame for them, as they always are quickly through these first 2 games. And Wes Wilhelm looked like he's kind of back on track here. Wes struggling a little bit tonight. And Dakota Hopkins with a nice conversion. I think that's one of the things that Dakota has figured out. He struggled a little bit at the beginning of game 1. Looks like he struggled a little in game 2. But Dakota's been able to settle himself down, it looks like, and start converting some spares when he doesn't get those strikes. Maddox Oyer and Tyler McDougal out on those outside lanes. Still looks like they're having a solid game. And Maddox Oyer just rolls a strike on lane 17. Trevor Johnson is having a night. He's got 4 in a row for him, for the Vikings. Stone Roth trying to keep pace there with a nice strike for him. Now Tyler McDougal for the Tigers out there on 17 on the far lane. Off a strike in frame 5. And hits a little light off the head pin and leaves a split there. Nope, the 10-pin fell for Tyler McDougal, so he leaves an 8. Wes Wilhelm with a strike. Wes is a man of many emotions. You can see him on his face. Not really. Wes is one of those athletes that you can't really tell what's going on with him. He kind of got that stone look, no matter what happens, good or bad. Trying to deal with the scores off the scoreboard. It looks like Liberty should be ahead so far in this match. But again, they were ahead at this point in game number 1 and come back and Evergreen took that first game by a 2-pin victory, 2-pin margin. So now Maddox Oyer up on 18 out there. Coming off a strike. Very smooth delivery, and he gets them all. All right, Wes Wilhelm back on track here for the Tigers. And boys rolling right along into the 8th and 9th frame. Tyler McDougal with a nice conversion there. Tyler's been very consistent tonight, making spares when he doesn't strike out. Well, we had a solid game. He was pretty much near. He was plus 12 in game number 1 from his average. So a strong showing tonight for Tyler McDougal. And Dakota Hopkins clears the pins. Doubled up here. Getting ready to go into the 10th frame, so good 10th foundation for him. Now Stone Roth with 2 strikes. Looking for a turkey here. Liberty wanting a solid foundation frame for that 10th. And Stone Roth going to be heavy, and he leaves a solid 10. Oh, Maddox Oyer now. He's up out there on 17. He's got a double. And they're only in the 8th frame out there on the edge lanes. Maddox, a little light on the head pin, almost sweeps them all, but leaves a 7. And Stone converts. So he'll go into the 10th with a spare. Now Wes Wilhelm, he's got a double. And Brent rattles them. Wes Wilhelm out there on 20, but leaves that solid 10. Dakota Hopkins now. First ball in the 10th. He's really light on that head pin. Sweeps them all, but leaves 1. Gets 9. Wes Wilhelm with a nice conversion on that 10 pin. Tyler McDougal really light off the head pin. Didn't like that shot. You could tell when he let it go. And Dakota Hopkins, he spares up in the 10th, so he'll get one more ball here. Looking at a 153 plus what he gets on this next shot. And Mike Laver for the Vikings, 163 plus what he's got here. And Dakota Hopkins, 199 for him. That makes him plus 13 on there. So he rolls a 413 series for him. He's going to be plus 41 for his average tonight. So good night for Dakota Hopkins. Stone Roth with a 9 here in the 10th frame and looking to convert. And solid shot there, he does. So he's got a 184. .418 series for Mike Laver for the Vikings. So Trevor Johnson with another good game here. He's got 217 or 207 right now, plus whatever he gets on this next ball. Wes Wilhelm throwing to the 10th frame, looking to be strong again. A solid 10 pin shot. Wes has hit that head pin solid. Coming in hot, leaving that 10. Tyler McDougal converts. Very nice shot for him. Trevor Johnson, a 215. So Trevor Johnson with a great night for the Vikings. 30 plus 40, so he's plus 89 for him. .439 series for Trevor Johnson. Nice game for him. All right, Stone Roth, 182. .415 series for Stone. Stone ends up plus 38 pins tonight over his average. And Maddox leaves an 8. So there's going to be some big spares here for the Tigers out there in the edge lanes as this match has gotten close. Wes Wilhelm finishes with a 201. So Wes with a 374 series. Ooh, big split there for Isaac Hensel, but a good game for him. Above, he actually hits his average right on the money, 165 for him. And a 302 series tonight for Isaac Hansel. Again, we're out on the edge lanes here. The 1920 people have finished. And Maddox Oyer with a nice game, 171. That's a point above his average. .334. Tyler McDougal finishing up. He's looking at a 168 plus what he gets here, so a 178 for Tyler McDougal. Another nice game for him. He is plus 13, so he's plus 25 tonight. And let's add up some of the Liberty Center scores here. It's going to come down to the last bowler, I believe. So a 931 for Liberty Center. And Tom Baker came in that second game for Cohen Meyer. He rolls a 114. And the last one is Lane Vance, and he's looking at a potential ones. He's got a 179 right now, plus what he gets on this ball. Lane Vance, 153 bowler, rolled a 222, so he will be considerably over his average tonight. We'll figure that out for him because he's had a great night. And 188. So let's see what we get here. Going 845. So Liberty will take that by 86 pins. So they'll go into the Bakers game plus 84. Tyler McDougal with a nice night. 361 series. Let's get you the last Lane Vance. He had a great night for the Vikings here. A 410 series. So really good for him. He's looking at 306 normally, so he's plus a lot of pins for Lane Johnson. Lane Vance. Let me get the man's name right. So Lane Vance for the Vikings, 104 pins over his average tonight. So nice play by him. So we're going to get into Baker's game number 1. Liberty Center now rolled a 931 in game 2 to Evergreen's 845. Liberty Center picks up 86 pins in game number 2. So they are now plus 84 for the night. And we'll get a little bit better shot here. For you, these Baker games are a little tough for us because we got to look over everybody and see what's going on. And Liberty is bowling out here on lane 20 right now. And we can get you a little bit better shot of these Baker's game. Again, all the boys standing up, and most of them over 5'10"-ish or so. So we'll try to get you somewhat of a zoom shot. And one of these days, we're going to figure out a better camera angle here. But we'll keep you posted on the scores. And we'll keep you posted on the scores here. Wonder if I can make that work as a picture-in-picture. And at least you'll be able to see the scores here. We'll try to make that work for you. Playing with our high-definition cameras, which are made possible by the Liberty Center Athletic Boosters. I always like to thank them. These are about $5,000 worth of high-tech things, and our athletic boosters certainly supporting our student athletes. And actually had somebody concerned about that, and I can promise you guys out there that nothing has been on these cameras except for our Liberty Center Tigers. Again, we appreciate the athletic boosters, and you can always message me if you have questions or concerns.
Whoops. Did I do it?
No. You jumped about that high, Kath. So you can see the scores in there. Liberty Center is pulling out strong here in Baker's game one. Again, they're plus 84 overall for the match. So it's going to be hard to make up the difference. 84 pins is a lot in these Baker's games. And Stone Roth, solid hit, but leaves 9. And I believe that's Trevor Johnson for the Vikings out there, coming on strong at the end. But Wes Wilhelm has something to say about that in the 10th. But it will come down to this 10th frame, and Michael Laver, which is rolled a 255 and a 163 for the Vikings, will take on the 10th frame with a solid hit. Leaves a 7 pin. Didn't like that. I agree. Now Wes Wilhelm with his second ball. And he'll sweep them all. Well, that's going to pretty much put it out of reach here. Liberty Center with a 196 to a maximum 179 for it. And Michael Laver picks that up. But he's got a 169 when what he gets in this. And Liberty Center is going to be victorious in game number 1 here. As Wes Wilhelm needs 1 pin to put this away. And he decides to get them all for a 206 in Baker's game number 1 for the Tigers. And Laver does get his for a 179. So Liberty Center will be victorious, 206 to 179. They'll switch lanes here. So Liberty Center, after Baker's game one, are now plus 111 pins for the match. Yeah, and they'll enter into game number 2 here. The Lady Tigers have kind of folded into their Baker's game here, as they're bowling a regulation match, I would say. Yeah, just trying to keep the norm going here, as the Evergreen Vikings do not have a girls team. So if you're out there listening and you want to bowl for the Vikings, ladies, come on. They'll be happy to put you into rotation here. Liberty Center wastes no time. The boys tend to get right back at it. And it looks like Owen Gabers is going to step in the rotation for the Tigers. And I like this. I think Coach Rod and his assistant know that they've got to get some other people in the loop here, and they're plus 111 pins. So, and Owen has bowled. He bowled in the last match and actually rolled about 35 pins above his average, maybe more, against the Tenora Rams. So good outing for Owen Gabers. So he'll try to convert here and picks it up. Let's see if I can finagle our automated camera here to get a better shot. And you just have to grin and bear it. So we're back anyway, and the boys are moving right along. There are some other bowlers jumping in. Owen Gaber for the boys, and the Evergreen Vikings. Green is green, I guess. The Evergreen Vikings have put a couple of their other young men in. Yeah, we'll jump back on the score board here. All right, we're back here. Again, trying to make quick adjustments, but Liberty Center already finishes up. Like I said, the boys tend to bowl really fast. 161 in Baker's game 2. And I believe Evergreen may take this one. They've got a 163 right now, so they've at least won by 2 pins, and whatever the bowler gets here. And he's able to get them both for 170. So they'll take that by 9 pins. So Liberty Center now is, holy moly. Liberty Center is plus 102 right now. All right, well, we'll get into Baker game 3 here. Clear the board. And shout out to Coach Bruce here. Coach Bruce Engler. So just about ready to embark here. A little bit of lane maintenance going on, of course, on 20. Of all the lanes we pick the one that needs the maintenance. That's kind of how it's gone. And Liberty Center now will be on lane 20, so they'll be on the B score if you're following along. Maddox Oyer. Maddox with a good night. The 163, 171 for a 334 series for Maddox Oyer. And he picks up 1 out of the 3, as that was a weird-looking split. And Evergreen starts out with 2 strikes and a 9 and a wiggle. Owen Gaber in the number 2 spot for Liberty Center. Owen kind of that 6th man on the varsity squad for the Tigers. Liberty Center's other bowlers are James Bailey, Dawson Clark, Tristan Grubaugh, Noah Huber, Mark Jensen, and Leland Wallace. These guys have been in the wings waiting most of the year, practicing hard and building that Tiger program. So a lot of boys and a lot of girls in our Tiger programs, and we always appreciate the numbers that Liberty Center Athletics gets from our students. And the Lady Tigers finishing up Baker game 3 here. But again, we haven't talked much about them. If you're out there watching, the Evergreen does not have a ladies bowling team, so we've just pretty much been covering the men. The girls have scrimmaged themselves, so all the lady bowlers have gotten time on the lane today. And Stone Roth rolls a strike out there on 20. And Michael Laver for the Vikings has had a good night. He plus 31 on his average. The big night for the Vikings is Trevor Johnson. Rolls a 439. He's plus that. And also Lane Vance. Big night for him, plus 104 over his average tonight. So the big night for the Tigers was Tyler McDougal, and he's going to be plus 35 over his average tonight for the Tigers. I think that's the top. No, Stone Ross going to be pretty close to that too. So, well, and as you can see, the Tigers are starting to pull back into the game here. And we're already in the sixth frame here for Baker's game 3, and Liberty Center still is plus 102 pins. So pretty much at this point in the match, they're not going to be able to overcome that deficit. Liberty will take the victory. But Evergreen's not going to go down without a fight. And they did take game number 1 by 2 pins. But Liberty came back strong, plus 86 in game 2. Owen Gaber out there, you can see on lane 20 with a solid head pin hit, but leaves the 10. And Dakota Hopkins sweeps him down. Stone Roth will come into the 9th, and I think Wes Wilhelm will bowl in the 10th frame for the Tigers. Can't see who's out on the lane, but it's probably Trevor Johnson for the Vikings in the 10th frame, and he hits real heavy on the head pin. And he'll leave 8. Ooh, and Trevor Johnson just wiggles the 1 pin. So they grade 149 in Baker game number 3 for the Vikings. So 498 series in the Bakers for the Evergreen Vikings. We'll get the Liberty Center score here. They've got still coming up. So as we're waiting for Liberty to finish up, the scores for Evergreen look like this. In game one, they rolled a 968, came back with an 845 for an 18-13 match play total. Then they came back with a 179, 170, and 149 for a Baker game total of 498. Their team total pins for tonight are 23-11. For the Evergreen Vikings. So Liberty Center finishes up that Baker game. Back-to-back 161s for the Tigers. And I think they're going to basically pick up those 9 pins again. They actually are plus 12 in that final game. So Liberty Center scores. Give me a second here and I'll add them up. So they have a Baker's game total of 528. So they will be plus 30 on the Baker's games. And Liberty Center's match play was 966 in game one, 931 in game two for an 1897. And that gives them, if I can write on the bumps on the cart here, 24-25 for the Tigers tonight, team total. And that is a 114-point victory for the Liberty Center Tigers. So they'll go to 9-4. The Vikings will go to 3-7, 3-8. I'm sorry. So Liberty Center will be victorious tonight, and Evergreen they fought the fight, 968 to 966 in game one, and a big night for Lane Vance, 104 points above his average. Also, Michael Laver bowled very well for the Evergreen Vikings and Trevor Johnson. But Liberty Center's consistency came back for the victory. The high series tonight, Stone Roth 415, Dakota Hopkins 413, then Tyler McDougall 361, or Wes Wilhelm 374, and Maddox Oyer with a 333. So Liberty Center, the pillar of consistency tonight. And that showed also in the Bakers game, 206, 161, 161 for the Tigers. So this will be, I believe, our last broadcast of the year from River City Bowlaway. Appreciate the group here. They do a great job. They furnish us with whatever we need to do these broadcasts. And we appreciate Randy and his group out here. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. And once again, Liberty Center takes a 114-point victory over the Evergreen Vikings. And with that, everybody, it's good night, and it's good Tiger sports.